I met my spouse when I was 13 years old. He was a new guy at my church. We dated off and on over the next few years and eventually married in 1995 after welcoming our first child into the world. We were married for 28 years and have 8 amazing children. Looking back, the abuse started in our dating years. I just misinterpreted it. In the beginning, the abuse was mostly verbal, control, and isolation. His outbursts were sporadic and he blamed them on the stresses in his life. There were long periods of good times and then he would get angry and violent again. These early years, I fully took on the blame and tried to correct whatever behavior or situation I thought had caused it. Unfortunately, no matter how many changes I made, the abuse continued. The last 7 years, the abuse and attacks became more frequent. They lasted longer and they were more violent. In 2020, I was told by the military VA doctors that he sees myself and children as the enemy and that we were his triggers. I was so deeply hurt to hear yet again from outsiders that the abuse was my fault. I realized then that no amount of change on my part would ever stop him. I believed I was a failure as a wife and mother because he told me too often that I was. I also felt that I was a disappointment to God because he, as well as members of the church, placed the blame on me for the marriage struggling at times. I recall getting enough courage to share about the abuse with someone within the church we were attending at the time, to then just be told I needed to pray more, fast for my marriage, read this book or that book, go on a marriage retreat, attend a marriage conference, serve my spouse, study submission, fully submit to him, and more. I actually did all of these, some several times, and still our marriage struggled and the abuse often intensified. I felt betrayed by my spouse, my extended family, friends, and other Christians. There were times these people would go back and share things with them that I had told them in private. I paid dearly for anything that I had shared, and so I learned to keep it to myself. This was so difficult to carry alone, and I began emailing myself about the encounters. I also resolved that this was an important measure to take so that when he killed me, this would aid in him being charged with my murder. Over the 35 years that I've known him, I've been scared, hurt, sad, alone, angry, terrorized, silenced, violated, rejected, and confused. I've been lied to, manipulated, taken advantage of, and lost who I was as a person. I endured every abuse on the power and control wheel except for using culture. I can recall times that he threatened to kill me and I wished he would. And then other times that he threatened and I begged God to save my life. I'd reach out to family for help and they would encourage me to stay and work it out and tell me what a fool I'd be to walk away from such a good provider. And so I stayed until I couldn't any longer. I no longer believe I am broken and damaged, but instead I know I am healed and loved. God has given me the opportunity to work with other survivors in my community. I've been a mentor, friend, and servant to these women. I've sat with some who are still in abuse and have been able to give them information I've learned so that they can make the decision that's best for them. Hagar Sisters has truly been instrumental to my freedom. They've walked with me just like God has. They've been kind, loving, gentle, and a constant source of empowerment on my journey. They've held me in my lows and rejoiced in my highs. I'm excited to see all that God will continue to do in my life, and I know Hagar Sisters will continue to be a part of that process. I will forever be grateful that God connected me to this Christ-focused group because it's exactly what I needed to finally become free.